Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulonding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Dada Cham. In the headlines tonight, we will look on the update of quarantine and testing guidance for people entering the country. Ibo Town to have standard roads, says President Barrow. Remy Journers, Independent Electoral Commission appointed, receded. Independent witness in 2006 Phil Coop testified before TRRC. On the international scene, more Republicans say they will object to U.S. election results. Dutch government comes under fire for slow COVID-19 vaccine rollout. Kenya's schools reopen after 9 months COVID-19 disruption. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Ministry of Health wishes to inform the general public that there is an update on the testing guidance for passengers coming into the country, the release rates. As we monitor the progress on the pandemic, there is a fast-spreading new strain of the coronavirus, which has been emerged in the UK and now in many other countries. Potentially implications for public health have begun to emerge, according to the report by the World Health Organization and the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control. Those all travelers coming from hotspot countries where the new strain of coronavirus has been identified will undergo sample testing upon arrival in the country, in addition to having a valid COVID-19 PCR test results of 72 hours. These travelers must undergo mandatory quarantine until they have a negative test or their own cost samples that are found positive upon their testing on arrival in the country will have the virus strains sequence to confirm the genome. All other travelers from countries not identified as hotspot for the new strain of coronavirus must provide a valid negative PCR test to go on home isolation. The Ministry of Health seeks compliance of the general public to this order. The release ends. On his Meet the People tour in Ibo Town, President Barrow promised the people of the community standard roads to make transportation effective and efficient in the area. Madam Adem reports.
As he continues his dialogue with the people of the country, President Barrow arrived in Ibo Town with a rousing welcome by the residents and its surrounding communities. This was done purposely to manifest their support to the incumbent head of state. The people of Ibo Town, Joswang and Talending complain of lack of quality roads, good healthcare facilities, schools, low water pressure, lack of electricity supply, standard of markets, proper garage and insufficient gardens for the women. The people brought these forward because they believe that the president should ameliorate their conditions. Some of the speakers raised concerns over lack of drugs, water and ambulances in their various hospitals, thus causing them major challenges, especially to the pregnant women. On sports, the youths expressed need of a standard field to showcase their various talents. They also need skills centers to obtain the adequate skills they deserve to reduce the rate of unemployment in the Gambia. Through skills, they hope to attain employment and not continue to depend on the government to provide sources of income for them. On the domain of tourism, the resident said Talending Island has different bird species that can attract thousands of tourists, so they want the government to transform the place into a bird watching and boat riding destination to create employment for the youths who will be engaged in running the place. In addressing their concerns, President Barrow announced that at least 3 standard roads in Ibo town, including the Joko Road, will be constructed. Barrow further said it will be very difficult to solve all the problems at once, but the ministers will come back to the communities to assess all the problems and find possible solutions. He, however, promised to look into the health and education challenges in due course. The president also gave his word that they will have good water and electricity supply. President Barrow also took the opportunity to refute the allegations that he ordered for the disarray of the women vendors in the Serekunda market. He declared that he had nothing to do with it, as he is not responsible for council's operations. The president further joined his ministers and National Assembly members as they call on the people of Ibo Town and its surroundings to support his development agenda to provide unprecedented development for the country. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News.
The appointment of Orini Joyner, also called Remy, respected retired banker, as vice chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, has been decided. He was appointed to replace Mala Sala, who retired last year. Jacqueline Colley tells us more.
Mr. Joyner, a former deputy managing director of Transbank, initially confirmed that he had gotten his letter of appointment and was yet to be sworn in. However, Mr. Joyner's appointment raised controversies among political actors and observers who objected by arguing that it was in violation of the IEC Act because Mr. Joyner is a co-opted member of a political party, in this case, the NPP Banjul Regional Committee. The leader of the opposition Citizens Alliance, Dr. Ismaila Cisse, in a write-up shared with the Standard said, the reported appointment of Remy Joyner, a former Trust Bank Gambia Limited deputy manager, will not be accepted because he is also an executive member of NPP Banjul. If this is true to be the case, we are going to challenge it. You cannot be the vice chair of the IEC at the same time be an executive member of the NPP. We cannot accept that. Similar objections were raised by other political parties. The comments propelled the revocation of the appointment by the president in a bid to avoid tampering with the newly established democracy of the country. Jacqueline Colley, reporting for Star TV News.
Bubalum appears before the commission to tell the encounter he had with the National Intelligence Agency as he was used to serve as an independent witness in the 2006 failed coup. Our reporter Binta Colley has the rest of the story.
Babulum said one of his old friends, Sergeant Seinindur, working at Serious Crime Unit in Banjul, called him and told him to go and serve as an independent witness as there were some coup plotters they have got hold of. He said he could not fully remember the first person they brought before him to give his statement. He said the person looked a bit dizzy as well. It amused a late counsel Esa Fall that Babulum could not remember now, but went to court to testify against someone he could not even remember. The witness admitted that he has served as an independent witness for 6 accused persons or more. Mr. Lum denied being paid for the service he rendered. He clarified that he was only given fare from Bara, which was $250. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Binta Colley.
Those were the local stories. We will be back with the international news after the short break.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jeja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jeja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.goshglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
Weeks before the inauguration, Wednesday will mark the final step in the long process for official declaration of Joe Biden as the 46th President of the United States. But like many things in the Trump's era, this is expected to be controversial and unprecedented. Al Jazeera's party report.
This announcement of the state of the vote.
It's supposed to be a formality. The U.S. Vice President, along with members of Congress, receiving the certified votes from the states.
Donald Trump of New York has received, for President of the United States, 304 votes.
And declaring the election over. Vice President Al Gore did it.
George W. Bush of the state of Texas has received, for President of the United States, 271 votes.
And he had just lost the election to George Bush by just over 500 votes.
The Vice President votes.
But as Vice President Mike Pence prepares to take the gavel, he is under pressure to throw out Joe Biden's win.
And I hope Mike Pence comes through for us, I have to tell you. I hope that our great Vice President comes through for us. He's a great guy. Of course, if he doesn't come through, I won't like him quite as much.
According to the Constitution, the Vice President doesn't have the power to do what the President wants, but more than 100 House Republicans and at least 13 senators have promised to try.
I have an announcement, Georgia. On January 6th, I will object to the Electoral College vote. That's right. Thank you. We're going to get this done.
They're calling for an emergency audit of the vote and are threatening to challenge the results for key states if they don't get it.
We've got tens of millions of Americans that think this election was stolen. We need to get to the bottom of it. Again, what's explained, we need to explain it, get that off the table.
To be clear, there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud, even though the Trump campaign has filed almost 60 lawsuits claiming that there is, all of which have been thrown out by the courts. But if these Republicans do object to certify the results from certain states, then each chamber will debate each challenge for up to 2 hours before voting on whether to certify the results. It's unlikely they have the votes to actually change the outcome. Challenges have been made in the past, but never with these kinds of numbers.
I would like to see it named for what it is, which is the Republicans are making a plea to get rid of democracy and offer something else, which looks like entrenched politicians get to decide who the next leader is. It's absolutely breathtaking as a matter of constitutional basics.
Never before has the loser of a presidential election refused to concede or called the election stolen. But for President Trump, this is one more precedent-breaking move on his way out, a last-ditch and likely futile attempt to stay in power. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera.
Criticism is mounting over Europe's slow COVID-19 vaccination drive, with the European Union trailing well behind the United States, the United Kingdom and Israel. Al Jazeera's Step Vincent reports.
It looks like inoculations are in full swing in the Netherlands, but one important thing is missing: a needle. While all neighboring countries have started vaccinating more than a week ago, the Dutch are still holding dry runs, with the first COVID-19 jabs to be given in the next few days. An embarrassment, according to medical experts.
The Netherlands is the last country to start vaccinating. Can you respond to that?
I will first do the debate, and afterwards I'm available.
But why is the Netherlands so late? But what went wrong?
Also, Prime Minister Mark Rutte had no comment ahead of an urgent debate in Parliament. On Monday, the Minister of Health admitted he had made a mistake by counting on a different vaccine other than the Pfizer-BioNTech one to become available first. This has led to frustration among medical workers who are dealing with the worst influx of COVID patients since the start of the pandemic.
Ja, er zit zeker een deel van.
We have definitely been frustrated. We have gone through emotional months and now this happens. You look at other countries where vaccinations are in full swing and feel jealous. Why can't we do this here?
The Dutch delay mirrors the chaotic strategy overall across the EU.
This empty vaccination center not only symbolizes the country's failure to inoculate its population rapidly, it also shows how European countries considered to be well organized have handled this COVID-19 pandemic so poorly. What was meant to be a common EU vaccination program has led to serious delays, and not only here in the Netherlands.
In France, only a few hundred jabs were given in the first week due to bureaucratic hurdles, but the government says it's quickly catching up, with thousands vaccinated on Monday. In Germany, where hundreds of thousands have been inoculated, vaccines are quickly running out, and the second shot might have to be postponed. Many are blaming the European Commission for the slow rollout to 27 member states and the lack of vaccines for its 450 million people. The EU is accused of being so keen to work together and in step that it fell behind countries elsewhere. The European Medical Agency has yet to approve the Moderna vaccine, which is already widely used in the US and UK. After pressure, the Netherlands moved its vaccination program forward and will now start inoculating medical workers and employees of care homes on Wednesday. But it will take months before vulnerable groups like the elderly will be vaccinated. Step Fasten, Al Jazeera, Amsterdam.
Schools have reopened in Kenya after a 9-month disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In most schools, hand sanitization stations are in place and staff check the temperature of students before they enter or allow into schools. Many parents are happy to see their children back in school, as it will help them more to be free in working environment, though they also have concern about the potential for the virus to spread among students. Al Jazeera's Muhammad Adu reports.
Students at Nairobi's Ayani Primary School line up to receive face masks given out by the government. 18 million students have returned to school across the country after a 9-month disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. But many say conditions at the schools are far from ideal.
We have very few water points, and therefore, as you can see, the children have been struggling to wash their hands. And using this one water point here is not easy.
Without more desks or classrooms, the children have to sit shoulder to shoulder, 3 at a desk, just like they did before the pandemic. Teachers are warning that the often overcrowded and underfunded schools are ill-prepared for reopening in the face of the ongoing pandemic. They say there have been no new provisions to ensure that there is social distancing in the classrooms. Parents too are concerned.
At the moment, we have got a lot of fears because we really don't know if other children in school are having the virus, or even if the teachers are having the virus, or even the support staff in school are having the virus. So we have that fear, but we really hope for the best, and we shall keep on praying for our kids to be safe.
COVID-19 cases in Kenya began surging in October and peaked in November at the rate of 1,972 cases per day, according to the Health Ministry. Despite limited testing for COVID-19, the country has recorded 1,685 deaths and almost 100,000 cases. Many are now worried the reopening of schools might lead to another surge in the number of infections. Muhammad Adu, Al Jazeera, Nairobi, Kenya.
And before we end the news, a recap of our main headlines. We will look on the update of quarantine and testing guidance for people entering the country. Ibo Town to have standard roads, says President Barrow. Remy Joyner's Independent Electoral Commission appointed receded. Independent witness in 2006 Phil Cook testified before TRRC. On the international scene, more Republicans say they will object to U.S. election results. Dutch government comes under fire for slow COVID-19 vaccine rollout. Kenya's schools reopen after 9 months COVID-19 disruption. That's all for this edition of the news. Thank you for watching and join us for tomorrow's news.